Before pre-K, I had some special K
Did
for
you really?
breakfast. No, I didn't.
I was going to say, what the hell
Makes
would
sense. I had cornflakes. What can I say? I didn't have cornflakes. I had wheat bix. And it's us. And we're in studio today. Do you know who we are? We do. Tell us. Oh, I forgot. You can't answer. Angie, answer.
Who are we?
Yes.
Well, we're Two Girls, One Pod, and I'm Angela Bernice Ken, and you're Yvie
Justice.
Justice.
We're Two Girls, One Pod, and we are in studio today recording from Wurundjeri country in the new Nova Studios on Clarendon Street, South Melbourne. Come and stalk us if you want.
Please don't.
Do a ticker take parade down the street. Give us a float.
Oh, imagine us on a float.
I'm imagining it right now.
What would our float be, actually?
Two Girls, One Pod.
Well, yeah, but what would it look like?
Oh, it'd be just a big red couch and a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
And wine.
Wine and then snacks.
Snacks.
And what would we wear?
I would wear a muumuu.
Yeah, you love a muumuu.
But I would probably put active wear underneath it because that's my thing at the moment.
Like what you're wearing kind of right now.
Exactly. What would you wear?
I would wear an Empower Women white shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd
Orange
have
pants?
orange pants, and I'd make sure my toenails matched my fingernails pink. But like almost skin colour.
That's a great
Like my
idea.
cheeks would be the same colour as my lips.
And we should have our hair as spaghetti.
Yeah. Let's have spaghetti hair. Oh, welcome everybody.
Welcome.
It's so nice to be in the studio together because we don't get to do it very often, but you know what? Let's make the most of it.
Okay.
And we're going to start off because it's our last one. Do you like I'm sitting?
Yeah, I do actually.
It's very
You look so much more comfortable than I'm sitting on one of those chairs that is moving forward, like it's leaning forward. So I'm trying to. I haven't figured the chair out. We've just tried to figure the studio out, and so now I'm just trying. I'm hanging on for sweet dear life. So I may have glutes or something by the end of this record.
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll be, but they'll probably be there. I'm not comfortable.
I'm joking. You don't look very comfortable at all.
I don't feel it. So what were you going to say? This is the last what?
This is our last ever time that we are talking about MAFS.
For this season.
Yeah, for this season.
This time next year. Hold my beer.
I know, we'll be talking
Yeah,
about
last
it again.
time. Oh, God.
But I'm very excited about that because we only have to touch on the final dinner party and the commitment ceremony, which, you know what, to be honest, all quite boring. We all knew about it because this whole season was just leaked by the media anyway. Speaking of media, really good podcast to listen to if you want any good, juicy MAFS stuff. Because we pretty much just recap the show and then recap what she says. Is Megan Pistetto's podcast so dramatic. She gets old mates Harrison's ex on.
Her name's Sophie. One thing I want to say is I really like her. You can tell she's telling the truth. You can tell when someone's lying, and that's why just the little bits that I've listened to Harrison, I actually found that really hard to listen to finish because I couldn't stand listening to him because you know when someone's lying.
Yeah, they go into too much detail. His detail of, she broke my heart and that's why I'm a boy. I wasn't always like this. It's like, oh, shut up. Yes, you were.
Yeah, exactly. So go and listen to it and you will find out some pretty shocking things that I actually had to record yesterday for postcards on Channel 9 and I was listening to it first and I actually had to send Megan a text and I said, this is making me rage so badly that I have to turn it off and put on some really great music because I can't possibly go and work with my mindset like this.
Anger bodies.
Absolute, like the things he's put her through and he's still putting her through. Please go and listen. It will, and the way Megan's so supportive and she's just like, she says, I'm flabbergasted at this. Like, how are you allowing this? But you know what? Women do allow this and I hate that we say, just leave him, or how are you allowing him to do that to you or your child or something? You know what? She is the perfect example of someone that is doing everything she can to make it as peaceful an upbringing for her child and to give her peace of mind so she can sleep well every night. She knows she has to compromise more than him because he won't literally do anything. He's a deadbeat dad.
I think at this stage he has no leg to stand on.
I think when you see your child twice a month, that's not a great dad.
No, and just him in general. Anyway, we won't go into details about that podcast. Go listen to it, then you'll know why we're tamping, fuming, raging. But we can touch on the final dinner party because, we got to see it with our own eyeballs.
I'm
look,
just laughing again at the
oh my God.
printout.
I think the biggest thing that came out of the final dinner party was Harrison printing out the conversation that Bronte had with his 21-year-old ex. I don't know how many. He's got that many exes. He's got more exes than I do jocks. Yeah, him having receipts, like standing there with them like a freaking muppet.
If you haven't seen the video of that part of the dinner party where he says, "Do you want to see him?" and everyone starts laughing and goes, "Oh, he's actually got them on a printout," and everyone is laughing so hard at him, and he keeps saying, hey guys, that's disrespect. Hey, a little bit of shush, please.
Yeah, what about when he goes, if you don't let me talk, you don't want to know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, you're going to beat us all up.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do, little man?
Yeah.
But Ollie was the funniest. He was just like laughing in his face. And then
it's like they all got courage to finally just be like, what on earth are you? What's going on
Bronte
in your mind?
was like,
here?
you're just a loser.
I'm so glad we got to see that of Bronte because we know that she's been going through such a hard time, obviously, with Harrison getting more of a platform for some unknown reason than he already needs. And she was really struggling with getting her side of the story across, but also just surrendering to the fact that she knows her truth and she doesn't actually have to carry on like a two-bob watch like Harrison. Because sometimes silence is more powerful than having to go on there and hold up your receipts.
Yeah, that's right.
And talk for 2 episodes straight about how much of a victim you are to Bronte and your ex-baby mama.
Can I also just say, about Bronte, with the leaked voice messages where she says, I know this guy, I'm going to, that a whole show is like that. So them trying to, like the guy from Daily Mail or anyone trying to drag her for that, it's like, if you knew who you were going to marry and you were going to get a blue tick and white veneers and maybe a career out of it, that's what they're all doing.
It's a television show.
The fact that you've got proof for one of them saying it.
Yeah.
And as I said ages ago, her only crime there was not you never write that shit down.
No, you never voice note it.
You never do a voice note of stuff like that. You never trust anyone.
Which is a bit of a sad one. Another person that really stuck out to me and triggers me so much, I think because I know so many men like him, is Cam. He is just like your stereotypical Aussie bloke that's just like, oh, what? Just can't have a conversation. He cannot have a conversation with you. Or what, the way I'm sitting. Like anything that went at him, he had to deflect or be angry or just joke.
Yeah.
I feel so...
Redirect.
Yeah. I feel really sorry for Lyndall because I think she's like a grown-ass woman and he's this giant man baby who looks like he's been on a bender for like 3 years. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe he's just exhausted or maybe...
It really does look like that. Why does it look perpetually cooked?
I think he potentially is, but perpetually cooked. Who knows? We don't know him. But he's just, if you look at that and you know people like that and you think that that's okay, it's not. That's old. We're not sticking around for that dross anymore. And the fact that he was naked in a club and...
He got his dick out.
I got my dick out.
At a club. And I love Mel Schilling, the expert, who goes, wasn't what the question was going to be, but thanks for sharing.
Yeah, she was great, actually. No, she was really good at the commitment ceremony. She kept saying, mate. Yes. That was the one, wasn't it? No, because they're not at the dinner party. They're just watching.
Yeah, they're watching it.
Yeah.
And he's awful. And he said, turns out I just wasn't that into having a relationship.
Yeah.
And they said to him, if only...
You communicated
she'd known that, and if we had known that, we wouldn't have had you on the show.
Yeah, it's like he went on not giving up any of his
anything,
going away for work, where he lives. Like, what were you expecting out of this? Nothing.
Well, he was hoping to get a hot chick to move back to the NT and catch and kiss Barramundi with him.
Living the dream.
Live in the dream and sit on a chair with your legs spread as far apart as you can possibly get it. He must have an all right package because he's getting naked in clubs and he's the skinniest thing I've ever seen.
Well, they say all cock and ribs, don't they?
Oh, I've never heard that.
You've not heard of all cock and ribs? Really skinny dudes usually have massive cocks. It's just such a shame and so undeserving. Just kidding.
Well, no, who wants a big dick up here? Honestly.
I don't care for any of the big dicks anymore.
I don't want any of big dicks up me. That's bloody awful.
It's horrible. You have to like
Awful.
hold your breath. Imagine having that sort of a man's big dick up.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not get really nasty. Because
Let's not get technical.
let's not get technical. But there's one other really solid dude that we want to point out for commitment ceremony. He's by solid I mean what a munter. Is Dan. That footage of Hugo talking to camera about what Dan had said about Sandy. She's not my type at all, but I'll hang on until the end anyway. I've been stitched up. In what world?
Yep.
Do men like Dan think that they're stitched up by beautiful, cultured, stunning humans like Sandy? Like, in what world do we live in that men like that? Somebody said, you're a 39-year-old man. 39.
No, 40. I think he's a 40. Yeah. Who knows?
He wouldn't be 30.
He's a 41-year-old man. 49-year-old
Said
man.
his age, and I was
48. 48-year-old man.
yeah, and this is how you carry. You have to date 20-something-year-olds.
Yes.
And either way, he stared at Hugo.
And she snapped him out.
see.
She goes, don't do that.
And you could tell that scary face.
Yeah,
But you're like,
Yeah.
go on. You know what we talked about earlier, and you're going to sit here.
The way he just turned and just looked at him.
He's a
And then they
scary
got that really
person.
big grab of Hugo swallowing.
That's my favourite sound in the world. I always do it when I feel awkward, and he did it. God love him, Hugo. Another thing to show the standard of men that we have going. Not that. I don't want to talk about her. She didn't get a very good edit, I don't think, but she's also a little bit off with the fairies. His partner. What's her name? What's Hugo's partner's name?
Taylor. She is out there. I reckon she's an actor.
Yeah,
Something going on there with the producers.
That's a
on
Kath
that
and
one.
Kim character.
So yeah, the show's over. R.I.P. to the MAFS. Men are
and shit.
so. See you all next year for that one. Wiped that like a dirty ass.
Oh, thank God. Oh, also, side note, at the end of that commitment ceremony, we kind of get this glimpse that Jesse and Claire are still together and Claire is moving to Perth to be with him. Not true. Listen to Megan's podcast again and Jesse goes to town about how fake that all is. So just remember, everybody, this show is so edited. What you
Except
see...
for what they do about Harrison.
Yeah, that's the truth. You can stick with that. You can stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Anyway, that's it for MAFS 2023. And thank you, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. I'd like to talk about I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here has just started. Yeah. And guess what? It's back in the South African jungle. Mama South Africa. Best place, one of the best places, I think, in the world.
Absolutely. And, just a little side note for everyone listening.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
When we're there, you get chaperones and all the locals and everything, blah, blah. They are not happy that we call it the African jungle.
No.
They're not happy that we call it Africa. Because it's South Africa. It's like it's people calling us New Zealand or the Antipodeans. It's an air, what do they call that? Asia, Africa, continent. It's a continent.
Yeah, that's weird that they got away with that for so long.
Yeah, I know. They're still doing it.
It's the African jungle. I mean, look, it's the South African jungle. Just chuck the South in, and then you're sorted. But I'm stoked. It's back. I get
good to see,
real somatic body responses when I watch it because obviously we've been in there, and I loved it so much, and it scared the shit out of me, but. It's like sometimes I'll forget to breathe or I'll yawn a lot.
Oh, yeah,
it's like
You're trying to
a
get oxygen
trigger.
to your brain.
Yeah, it's like a trigger thing. And I notice I yawn to a lot of people do this when they're doing healings and stuff. They'll yawn or they'll do something, to get rid of a feeling or whatever. But yeah, I notice I'm just constantly like I have to do that and remember to breathe because I'm holding my breath for them. I personally think that this year's cast is off to a really good start. I think it's a great cast. Shall we read out some of them?
Please do. We wouldn't even need to read them out. We know who they are.
Yeah.
Who have you got?
Well, the first on my list is Ian Dicko Dixon.
I'm loving that Dicko's back. And
Me
you know what?
too.
Dicko loves us.
Does he?
He loves us.
Wait, do I know this?
I don't know, but he really does. I met him and he fangirled me so badly. He was just like, me and my wife are obsessed with you two. Like, it is just, you're a breath of fresh air on our TV.
feel like
These
I know
women who are
this.
talking like the way you do and you're so inspiring. And, you know, he has daughters and I was just like shocked because I'm like, you had to go at Paulini in a dress. Like, you know, and it's not him.
No.
It's just not him at all. He loves women and he can own things quite well.
Yeah, he has been. Maybe be unpopular opinion for millennials that are like, everything men do are trash, which we're guilty of that to some degree. But I feel that Dicko really has handled situations better than most straight white successful men that they have on that show.
I totally agree.
He chucks a nana, which, you know, rightly so when he felt like all the women were ganging up on him. But he went and thought about it and he came back and he apologised. I don't know many men that will go away, think about it, and then think that they're in the wrong.
And then actually want to talk about it?
He wanted to talk about it with, if you don't know what we're talking about, Tuesday night's episode, there was a fight between him, Dom, and then Deborah kind of, you know, was like, you're a big loud voice coming at a little woman in the jungle. I was a little bit like, well, Dom is known for not being scared of...
She's not a vulnerable little girl. But her reaction to them telling her that there wasn't a good idea to ask such an aggressive question when they were trying to welcome one of their fellow castmates.
Yeah.
She couldn't understand that.
No.
She redirected. She got defensive. She started crying. She chucked a tantrum.
Yeah.
She basically, I don't want to do this, threw her toys out of the you know,
pram,
and then I don't, even when he said, well, if you are really that passionate about it,
You asked.
then why don't you ask
Yeah,
it?
and
You know, and she goes, well, I don't want to now.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
then...
like, oh, grow up. But you know what? She has to grow up. There's
She
a
does.
time for her. Because
Yeah, this
she's
might
of
be
that
it.
age that I was when I would do those
you
things
know
too.
everything. Yeah.
And you'd get... And the thing, I really thought about it last night. And I thought when I was that age, I would get really defensive like that because I really cared about the person having a go at me. And I would think, you're making me look like a fool in front of other people. And I want to look smart and I want to look like I know stuff. And being owned a little bit. Until you're older, you can't say, I see your point.
Yeah, it
You
takes...
just go, I don't want to do that then.
It does take, age and growth.
Yeah, growth.
And I think it's coming
Experience.
from... Yeah, and her background is very... She'll just speak whatever comes to her mind. And good on her. I do like that about Dom. I'm a big believer in second chances. I liked her on MAFS. Post-MAFS, I've been a bit like, I don't know. I don't know about you.
Same.
But now, so far on The Jungle, I really loved her challenge with Kak.
Yeah.
I thought she did really well.
Yep.
And the thing about Dom is she does not care if there's big conversations going on with people that have been in the industry forever. She will dive in, and I envy that to some degree because I'd never do that. I'm a very big respect person, and I'd sit and I'd let Deb and I'd let Dicko talk when I don't really like... I don't know if that's something that you do anymore. Maybe that's embedded in me, like be quiet little girl. But I would never go to Dicko like that. I just wouldn't.
Well, I think someone of her age,
Yeah.
someone else would. I think
Yeah.
it's her thing. But just like what I just said, you're going to get sat on your ass a few times when you are that person.
Yeah.
And you have to, she's unfortunately has to learn the hard way of dealing with conflict when that arises like that. And you know what? The
Yeah.
jungle is a perfect thing for that because you can't escape. And the thing is when he went to have a chat with her, the first thing she said is, you okay? Are you okay? You know, and he said, yeah, are you okay? And then she actually said to him, you know, that just reminded me of my fights with my dad. And
Yeah.
he said, well, that just reminded me of a fight with my daughter.
See, that
was a
was
beautiful
nice.
moment. And that's what I loved about the jungle so much when we were in there because we had to deal with things. Like we had Justin, the model, who was the hardest one to deal with. He
Very
would chuck
difficult.
tantrums daily.
Yeah.
They didn't show that, which is great. It's a family show. They're not going to show those kind of conflicts. They showed
they saw a few.
three conflicts
Yeah.
with him.
There
But
was more.
it was a daily thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, but we all had to deal. And one thing Justin does have is an ability to say sorry.
Yeah,
when
after
he
sits
feels
on
it.
He
Yep.
has to be quiet for like 24 hours.
Yeah.
So,
And-
it's a long one. It's a bloody long one.
Yeah, but the rest of us had to learn how to do that as well with each other, didn't we?
None of us really fought, to be fair.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
We
right?
didn't.
And people have to remember those first few days, you are detoxing. You are sweating out any form of addiction you have, whether it's food, sugar, coffee, tea, alcohol, tobacco. So you are just wigging. They love to watch you wig, and you don't know when you're going on a trial. You don't know these people. So you're so heightened. So any little thing feels tenfold. It feels so much more extreme. And when you're starving and your blood sugar levels dropping and you want to get your point across but you can't, like, I just remember when Justin and I had that fight, and I was just, my blood sugar had dropped so much that I went white, and I you couldn't even think of words because you're just like, oh, I can't get out of here. I can't run to my room and cry.
Can't leave.
Anything I do, these cameras are going to do what they want with it.
Yeah.
So you do think of that a little bit as well. You're like, oh, I can't have a full breakdown. They can show that.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to like learn different ways to process it around all these fucking strangers in the South African jungle, starving, dirty, and the personalities. Like, they've got huge personalities this season.
This season's very similar to our season where it wasn't big names. Apparently this season, and you can go and listen to this, our EP on the show, Alex Mavridakis, he does an interview and he talks all about how the season before ours, that was the Fiona O'Loughlin season.
Yes.
And everyone pretty much only wanted to talk contracts all the time, and they lied around and they slept a lot. And he said it was very difficult. Channel 10 were like, we're done with the show. It's not worth it. He said, please give me one more go. And this is him saying the story. He said, and let me choose other people. Like he said, so what I decided, and he said, and I started with the two girls from Gogglebox. I started with them. I wanted relationships like they had, where they really liked each other, they got along and they were funny, but they could have the really serious talks as well. He said, and then I thought, well, let's do a cast like that. So he goes, I pulled in different people, not necessarily anyone big. He said, just people that I knew in a puzzle piece. I'll put them together and make this great show. And he goes, and we went really well again. And he said, we were off, we're still going. And I was like, wow, that's incredible to know that we were a part of that. And it worked because ours was the best. Yeah, didn't you? You got to go and listen. It's such a great episode.
Is that on?
It's on TV Reload.
Yeah.
So that was a really interesting thing, because then they had the last 3 seasons in Australia, and they did do a few names because they could get them in Australia.
Yeah.
That didn't work. It worked. The show's great, but have you noticed they've gone back to what they did with us? They've got people who may not necessarily be huge, but everyone is loving and lovable.
Yes, yes.
Last season was a bit like that as well. Like they had Dylan and Poe and Cal Wilson and Brooke McClymont. Like there was
names.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember that. I feel like this one's going to be really good, but I feel like they'll have more drama than we have because they've got big personalities like Cac and Dom and Dicko will call out everything. Yep. Then you've got Nathan. He'll kick off at any given moment. But I love Nathan. Who else is on there?
Can I say who I'm loving?
Who?
Aisha?
Love Aisha.
Loving her.
She is adorable. If you haven't watched her on Below Deck,
never
not the
seen
Aussie
her
one,
before.
The American one, that's where I fell in love with her. She's divine.
Okay.
She's a real little grublet, so I adore that.
I was watching her, Deb and Liz Liz Ellis last night. I bawled my eyes out.
Wasn't that beautiful?
It was really beautiful.
Talk? And she just gets up and cuddles. I love her. If those 3 women made it to the top, that would be everything. It's a really powerful female cast this year.
Isn't it?
And they're calling out all the bad behaviour.
How good is Deb when she spoke to Dicko about what she spoke about?
Yeah.
And then let him go, and then had another chat, like when he came to her and they had another chat. And
I loved that. I'm sorry if this is an unpopular opinion, but I love me some Dicko.
Me too. I love me Dicko.
I think he's willing to learn, and a man from that status, growing up the way he has, been told he's God probably in the music industry, to sit back now and do the work and say, he said, I'm white privileged man, so I shut up now and I listen. And of course he's still going to have little things. It's just like when we all get told off, we go into that, wait, I want to say my side.
Yes.
And then he did that, but he took himself away.
Yes.
Then he came back after Dom, a young woman, told him, I don't want to talk to you. And then he's got, Deb going at him. And then he listened. I thought that was a really beautiful thing for all men and women to see. The thing with Cac, I personally think that Kat can have her makeup. I read a lot of comments and it was very divided. It was like, who does Kat think she is? Dom's right. Then it was like, Dom, you've been in the industry for 2.5 seconds. Shut up. Kat's been around for like 50. She's 70 this year. 70.
Yeah.
Let her wear a f***ing makeup.
And just like she said, it was a stipulation, a condition of going in.
Yeah, don't blame her. Blame production.
They've been trying to get her for 10 years. So if they had to, like, if Warnie got to have Siggy breaks.
Oh, God. Nobody kicked off about that.
No one kicked off about that. There was a lot of things in certain people's contracts. We had people in ours that had to go and take certain sleepers and stuff like that to get to sleep. There were certain people that had to have mattresses on their...
Yeah, because of their back pain.
Of their back pain. There was a lot of things like...
We didn't get any though, just so you know. We got tuppence because we were fresh off Gogglebox, so we were just the bottom of the barrel.
We didn't know how to.
We didn't know how to barter
anything. There was no conditions. We didn't even bring in contraband, which we found hilarious. Everyone brought in contraband but us, and we're like, what? Why have they done that? That's so naughty.
I'm such a goody-goody with rules. There was no way I was getting in trouble or being an outcast of like getting other people in trouble. I was like, let's just go in. Let's just be really good and then win everyone over, which evidently we did. We were there till the end. Second over here and tied fourth over here. What? So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I love The Jungle. It's such a great family show. It's got all the things. I hope that it continues to go like this. I love me some...
we'll talk about it every week.
I think we should touch on it, definitely.
And you know what? I'm going to tell a funny story next week about it. I'm going to tell you... Well, you already know, but I'm going to tell the listeners.
Oh, my God.
About the day I left.
Yes! Oh, my God, you never shared this publicly. I was telling someone about it the other day, not in the industry, obviously. Maybe even my mum. And I was like, I've never shared it because it's not my story to tell. And Yvie's never come out about it. And it's such a good story. And you did not tell me until after the fact. No, okay, save that for next week because that is... it's
a long story, so it needs a good episode. I think that's us for this week. Oh, we've got some useless facts.
Oh, yeah.
Let me find you one. While I'm finding that, what are you doing for Easter? It's coming up this weekend.
I know. Well, I'm in Melbourne still, obviously.
I think you should just stay.
No.
Oh, you got to get home?
I got to get home because we haven't touched on this yet, and I'll go into it into a deeper when we have more time, but my dad, as you know, has blood cancer. He's had it for 3 years now, but he's now on chemo for it because it just progressively got worse and worse. Yeah. So he started full-time chemo about 2.5 weeks ago now, and given up drinking and all his addictions, and I'm just so proud of him. And
he's doing his own jungle.
He's doing his own jungle, and he's so pleasant to be around. And I'm getting my dad back, and I just love watching this process and having conversations with him without substances or the fear of it turning bad. And he really wants me to come home for Friday, and he's bought me bugs and seafood.
I want you to go home now.
And I've had to spend lots of money to get back, but I'm like, I have my dad without anything, and I don't know how long I'll have my dad for too. I'm hoping he'll fight and win the battle, but I'm like, I have an Easter where there's going to be no kickoffs.
That's right.
I am
you got the chance
so fucking excited. So that's my Easter plans. I'll be on the Sunshine Coast. My auntie, one of my favourite aunties is here from Townsville. They're staying at Jessica at the moment. So I have all my little baby cousins, and we're all going to go to my nanny's in Brisbane.
Yeah,
so I'm really excited.
I'm really excited actually for you, and I'm really glad that you're getting this time with your dad because it is so incredibly important, and not many people get that opportunity. So I'm really, really glad, and not just for you, for your dad.
Yeah, me too. I think he deserves it.
And your mum to see it.
He deserves it because at the end of the day, he's, substance abuse can really... I sometimes try to take that from him and remember at the end of the day, he was a little boy
child
down there, and that's what's led him to do some of the things he's done. And
any abuse, any addiction, it's all trauma-based, and it's really... easy for us to judge, and it's really hard for us to try to understand where that comes from because we are copying it.
Yeah, we cop the other side, and we're like, well, we're getting help from your shit. How come you can't? But not everybody.
So there's a resentment there.
Yeah,
and, he's been forced into a cleaning,
Yeah.
but we'll take it.
He's had to hit rockers to do it.
That's right.
But to see it in his eyes and the things he says too, where he's like, I'm never drinking again. Like I wake up and I can see clearer and I can hear and I'm like, where the have you been? And I'm not saying where the fuck
I
have
know.
you been, because that's
you know what?
non-existent.
It's okay to say that in your own
Got him
head
here now.
and say, because it's a rhetorical question. Where the f- have you been?
Just to
you know.
see that is like, that's a miracle blessing in itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm really glad.
that's my plans. What are you going to do?
I don't have big plans. I'm home for the weekend. I don't have a lot of money at the moment, and I've got a holiday coming up. So
Save for that.
I am going to Yum Cha on Saturday
Yum.
with my friends, and that's the only locked-in plan I have. And the rest of it, I'm just going to cook some nice food and, love my dogs and have nice time with people, hopefully, that haven't left Melbourne.
Yeah, well, it's so
There'll be a
expensive
few
to
people,
leave, so maybe people won't leave. It's ridiculous trying to get anywhere.
Well, yeah, maybe I'll have some friends over on the Sunday night and
Do
make my
it.
deconstructed lasagna for them.
Oh, sounds like heaven.
I must make it for you one day, but you don't eat meat.
Oh, well.
Oh, I'll make it with faux meat and gluten-free
Yeah.
pasta.
Do you know how many yummy faux meats there are these days?
I do because I eat them. Do you know I have the
Yummy.
Rebel Burger from Hungry Jack's the other day, and it's beautiful.
Do they do a gluten-free bun?
I don't know. I think they do.
I'm going to Google it.
Google it. I don't think they do, though. All right. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
When visitors would come over,
Yep.
as a family, you would hang up a bacon to show it off, to show off. You were showing off your home if you hung up bacon.
Cooked or just...
Yeah, like you'd be curing it. Bacon is cured pork.
Right. Yeah, well, of course.
It was a sign of wealth that a man could.
Bring home the bacon. Mm-hmm. Stop it.
Stop it. Start it. They would cut off a little to share with the guests, and they would all sit around and
Chew a fat?
chew the fat.
Chew a fat.
Chew the fat.
I thought it was chew a fat.
No, it's chew the
But I was close. I got the meaning.
chew a fat.
Chew a
I think
fat?
that's something completely different.
It's like chew a big fatty, like a big pork sword.
Chew the fat.
Oh my God! Well, I know the saying, I just got it wrong. So
You did. It's
I
the
know
same.
exactly what you're saying.
So you
Chew
would
the
bring home the
fat.
bacon if you had money,
Yeah.
and you would have a little bit and you'd sit around and chew the fat.
Oh my. Things that you never think about where they come from, and it's so base. It makes so much sense.
So much sense.
I would have never known that. I would have been like, I don't know, maybe people like bacon makes you talk more. Like I would not even know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't even necessarily know chew the fat comes from pork either.
No.
Could come from anything. Could come from people that love big thighs.
Oh my God. Big juicy
But it doesn't.
pork thighs. That is so
It's a good one, isn't it?
That's a bloody good one.
That's us for this week. What a wonderful... I wish that you were here still because...
I know.
I think that you really should look at moving now that you're going to rent out the yurt and get yourself a little place down here.
I could very well do. I do love it here.
You fit in very well in Melbourne. It's a nice, easy place to live, isn't it? Like,
yeah, you can just walk
easy
everywhere.
to get around.
Just a little bit off the weather though.
Oh,
But-
the weather is great.
Yeah.
I love it. It's cold. and
You
it's
love that.
Cool and it's no humidity. Your hair looks great in Melbourne.
Yeah. Look,
What's not to love?
I'll give it a red hot go. I
think
I've,
you should.
I've said I've wanted to. It's just hard because filming's always in Sydney, so I have to relocate.
Oh, yeah. When do you start your Space Invaders again?
Space Girls.
Space Girls.
So I think that's August.
Okay, I'm Snack Masters in August, so we can do it from here.
Yeah.
And, they might do a Space Invaders down in Melbourne someday. Why don't you push for it?
I will. I will goddamn push. It'll be my Easter wish.
Why don't you tell them you won't do another season unless it's in Victoria?
As if they'd be like, tell your story, Walker, toots. Like, she doesn't even go here. You're the new girl.
Go here.
I'm like, shut up.
Well, you know what? You guys can get in touch with us. If you have any great, funny, useless historical facts that I, may have on the list or may not, please send them through. I've had a few sent through. They are going on the list. Believe me, you will hear them.
Send them through to Yvie, though, this time, not me, because I like the reaction.
Yeah, don't send them through to Angie. Definitely send them through to me.
Yeah.
Or email them to Nova.
Yes.
I mean, 2girls@novaentertainment.com.au and Rachael Poo will let me know all about them. Remember to rate and review us. It really does help get other people to have a listen, and it helps us get seen on the apps.
Yeah.
So it suggests things for people that go, oh, I wouldn't mind having a listen to that.
I wouldn't mind to chew a fat to that.
Yep. You can bring home some bacon, can't you?
Don't know.
Chew some a fat.
Chew a fat.
Chew a fat.
Well, if you, we hope that you chew a fat this Easter, and we also remember that the good Lord and Jesus Christ say on Friday that you shouldn't chew a fat. You don't eat meat. You just have seafood, bread, and wine. Okay.
All I eat anyway. Did you know I've given up pork? Given up.
Oh, thanks be to God, because you've realised you were eating puppies every time you ate it.
I can't do it. Have you seen that last ad I put up yesterday?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you haven't seen it,
It's
go to Animals Australia and just start following them because
Yeah.
I really want to become a vegetarian and this is a fucking brilliant way to do it.
that ABC thing that was on the other week about.
Oh my God. I want to know if they're gassing those pigs to death and they're screaming like that. Why? What are we eating?
Yeah. If you don't want to do it for the pigs screaming for their life, do it for yourself. Can you?
What are
What
we
are you putting
eating?
in your body?
What for them to die? That's uric acid is released immediately from your kidneys when you die. And that goes through, and that's what flavors meat.
Yeah.
So if that's got toxic, like carcinogenic gases in it, that has to be being eaten by us. It has to be.
100%. Especially when animals are killed traumatically, you can carry on through eating them their trauma.
Well, you know what? The last thing we've got to say to you.
Have the day that you deserve.
Oh, it sounds like we're at school and you go, good morning, Miss Kent
Jones. May God shine upon you.
No, don't do that. Don't.
Bye.